Anyone that tells you that vibe coding is not a thing now is an idiot. Honestly, they are an idiot. I'm happy to I'd happily tell that to them to their face. Like that is just unreal productivity. Unreal.
That planning mode I find for everything I do, whether it's coding, whether it's data analysis, whether it's research, it's like the ability to break down. In the very early days of MCP, there was an MCP server called sequential thinking, which
Yep.
that's what it did. It broke everything down into tasks and subtasks and then worked through it systematically. And you don't really need that anymore. Everything's got that built in. But if it's one of those things I would say to anybody who's not using a CLI or a tool that does that is a game changer in terms of the ability to collaboratively plan with your AI a detailed, whether it's a coding plan or a refactoring or data analysis or data acquisition or data cleaning, the ability to do that back and forth and then to say, okay, lock that in, that's a good plan, go implement that.
Mm,
That's where my post today, we're talking about how the execution phase is now, at least for me, is almost entirely on the AI model. Once I do the planning, it's just go out and get that done. And it is just getting better and better at doing that autonomously.
100% agree. I would say the predominant way that I'm using Claude Code right now is exactly what you just described. I always say, go and do a lot of research and come back to me with a plan. And then I
Yeah.
approve the plan. I just say, yes, do it. So instead of just giving some open-ended I want to do this. I'm like, go and create a plan for me that takes into account all these different things and then tell me exactly what you're going to do. And then I approve. I just generally think it's more effective at actually getting things done correctly the first time if you just put that layer into your sequence of doing things.
Well, what I've been doing with regard to that, I love the Google deep research capability. I
Yeah.
think of all the ones I've tried, I still think that one's the best. And so what I'll do is I'll have Google do the research. It'll pull all the sites. It'll go through hundreds. I did one the other day. It pulled like 316 citations and synthesized them beautifully, organized them beautifully. It said, here are the 50 or so that are predominant. Here are the secondary ones. And I said, okay, put that all in Markdown. And then I just put that into the folder that I'd opened in Claude Code. And then I said to Claude, I said, okay, now go formulate a plan based on that research to do X. And that combination is just dynamite.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I need it. I haven't used deep research for a little while, honestly. I've just been so into the agentic coding. I've, and so much new stuff is appearing all the time. It's just hard to, we've talked about this a lot. It's hard to keep up, but that trend is not going to stop. The acceleration is real. It's happening everywhere. This is maybe, we're getting to a point where there's the opportunity to specialize in AI enhanced, like whatever you're doing, agentically enhanced things that you're doing. You might want to specialize in coding or specialize in video or specialize in audio. There could be some sort of AI or agentic specialization that starts appearing.
Oh, there are already people who are laying down a flag in terms of building expertise in how to build skills. There are people
Yeah,
who've already set up marketplaces and have been just cranking out some really top-notch skills.
yeah,
There's a guy named Simon Willison who has a blog that is fantastic, and he actually cited to a number of the marketplaces that the really top coders had set up, and they're all in on this, and they're focused, specializing already in taking all that knowledge and building these specialized skills. So I definitely think it gets back to what we were talking about validating your own skills and proving those in public. That I think somebody who could build an app and talk through the process of how they built it, build a skill, particular data analysis skill, and explain the process by which they assembled that. To me, at that point, there's not much more you have to prove.
there's no better learning machine ever. There's no better reskilling machine ever than AI. So I think that's going to be quite dynamic. It's going to happen, but I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities that pop out on the other side of it.
Did you happen to watch Nate Jones's video today about how AI has really just completely disrupted the interview market?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's really good. I totally think he's right on this. He usually is, but what he was saying is it used to be that you could look at a candidate and that their resume and their portfolio and their cover letter would tell you something about their effort, their intelligence, their skill set. And he's now it doesn't mean anything, that everybody has access to the ability to craft a perfect resume, a great portfolio, a tailored cover letter to the position. He said that when you have 1,000 candidates, all of whom look the same, there's no signal there. And
Mm,
so what you've got is you've got companies that don't really know what they want. A lot of times just crafting job announcements from with AI. And then you've got candidates responding with AI that provide no separation. And it was a really interesting point. And I hadn't really thought about that because it's like you hear from both sides the job hiring market in the data field in particular is really broken. And what he had a great, I love the fact that he doesn't just point to problems, but that he has solutions. And what he talked about was the need to break out of that by demonstrating verification of skills. And by taking, and he said the best kind of quote resume he'd seen was somebody who talked through a 3-year project about like the mistakes they'd made, the ways they'd corrected it, the ways they'd used AI productively, the ways they had brought other skills to bear. And he said that is the new way to really cut through the noise. That he said basically everybody is being encouraged to do the same thing and basically to shout louder saying the same thing. And he's like, when everybody zigs, you have to zag. And it's interesting in the sense that when I was with the government, we had a kind of a similar approach where we would bring people in and say, okay, well, you have 20 minutes to present a project of your choice. It doesn't have to be anything related to what we do. Just clearly lay out what you did, why you did it, what you learned from it, and answer 10 minutes worth of questions. And in some sense, that is the verification of skills. That's what the job was. To
mm.
basically brief higher ups, convincingly state your case in plain language, convincingly, and then handle questions on the fly. And he was saying that's what you need to do now is do that sort of real world verification. He said one of the things I thought was really smart, he said, research the company, look at the problems they're having, and build your in a sense, your portfolio around that. You know, if you can go in and say,
Yeah.
hey, I've analyzed your data and here's what I see. You know, I just thought it was a brilliant analysis of everybody doing the same thing to no effect and how you have to break out of that. And I think I see that with content as well, that a lot of people are doing the same sort of thing. And the people I really follow and the people I really value are the people who are doing something different.
Couple of points there. Well, I agree with a lot of that. I do think that you'll find that a lot of people thought that the job and interview market was broken even before AI. So I think
Yeah.
that was a has always been a thing, and it was broken by the online platforms. It just gave the ability for anyone just to send in their CV to anywhere, right? And everyone was just like
Right.
flooding the market with their CVs. So I don't think it was perfect before.
No,
Obviously, yes,
no,
it's
definitely not.
it had it that old way of doing things that has just been made even worse, probably. Like it's actually got progressively worse. But let's just step back. Okay, so what does AI enable you to do? It enables you to vibe code things with code. It enables you to
Yeah.
use AI modalities in lots of new and interesting ways. It enables you to build projects and basically anything quicker. To me, the way to stand apart in this new AI era is to do exactly that. Just show how you can build things with AI. It doesn't in a quicker and effective way to impact the business.